taxes? I mean, how would local...
Well, we would not, I can tell you this. Well, first of all, as a philosophical matter, you work hard, you purchase land, purchase a home, maybe you have a mortgage, you pay off your mortgage, and it's like, at what point are you free and clear? And what property tax says is that you never really own your property because you got to pay rent to the government. And I just think that you have senior citizens that are on fixed incomes, and their home is now they're being told their home that they bought for $200,000 30 years ago is now worth $1.3 million, and they got to pony up and pay more taxes. And the homestead exemption is too weak to protect people. So that's a problem. Philosophically, it's a problem, but then operationally, people are getting pinched from these property taxes. Obviously, everything's gone up over the last 4.5 years. We've seen the worst inflation this country's had in many, many decades. Unfortunately, it hasn't abated. You see it in some things that are kind of one-off occurrences, like with the eggs and stuff. But you have seen an acceleration of inflation at the tail end of the Biden administration. So that's not good. And hopefully they'll be able to do some things like reducing spending to get it back under control. But so everything's gone up, groceries, all the stuff, and these taxes are really pinching people. So I think people need relief from that. Now, what I also said is, how do you do that? How do you go? That's why we want people to have a discussion about it. That's why this would be something that would be on the ballot in 26. So I haven't proposed a specific amendment because we're going to continue to work with people. But I will tell you this, that, and I think that's one of the reasons we want to do the DOGE on local governments. There is a huge, huge problem with growth of local governments throughout Florida. That's just a fact. And so let's get in there and let's look at this. Let's be transparent about it. And I think taxpayers will be able to identify ways that they can spend less. I mean, I saw some figures from one of the, I think it was Broward in South Florida. Like the last 5 years, their budget's grown 82%. And they've had no increase on net in population. So how does that happen? Now, we have had inflation, and there's some certain things, but that's a big increase. So we're going to approach this very thoughtfully, but the reason why we want to do this is to give people relief. So when they put out stuff saying, oh, somebody, they can't attribute it to me because I've never said it, although that doesn't stop them. You know, it's funny because we're getting ready to do the legislative session. I know these guys are still filing legislation. What the media likes to do, they like to find some bill that they can demagogue or claim is crazy, and they'll say, Florida files, and then they'll have my picture on the article. And it's like, well, wait, what do I have to do? Did I file it? No. Did I know about it? No. Did I endorse it? No. And they will do that just to try to generate more clicks, because if they put my picture, they can get more clicks than if they just told what the truth is. So, so you're going to see that. But the reality is this is something that's really biting. I can tell you there's no appetite to do things at the state level that is going to increase any of our state taxes. In fact, one of the things we're trying to do, we've done a lot of tax cuts, but we are actually looking to eliminate the tax on business rent, which is harder for smaller businesses, you know, when they're having to absorb those costs. We're the only state in the country that does that. We've reduced it significantly. We have a chance to sunset, abolishing an entire tax. That's a good thing, and we have plenty of revenue in the state of Florida, and actually probably won't lose very much from this because I think it probably inhibits businesses. So this is all to protect taxpayers. At the same time, no governor in the history of, certainly in modern Florida, has devoted more resources to education than I have. That's just a fact. We've done billions of dollars in increases for teacher salaries starting 5 years ago. We did bonuses my first year. Then we did the teacher categorical. Because, you know, you can increase spending for education. It can go to bureaucracy. So we created a provision in the budget. You got to spend on teacher.